right, so years ago, there was a little streaming service for your telephone, your cellular telephone. I'm talking about this shit like it's from the 90s. No, this is like 2019, 2020, somewhere in that area. I think it's 2020. There was this kind of failed project. Big failure, millions and millions of dollars. And it was called Quibi, if anyone remembers that. I actually did sign up for it when it first came out. And it was like, you know, the first 3 months free and no commitment. And man, I don't know. They've kind of screwed themselves on that probably. Yeah. But I signed up for it because they were having a bunch of shows. And the whole concept is that they were going to be bite-sized episodes between like 8 to 10 minutes long each. And they were going to release like an episode a day for new shows. And their shows were going to have like 13 episodes. Mm-hmm. And you would watch them on your phone. But they would be like feature films broken into these little episodic things. And they made some shows. Sam Raimi had a show on there called like 50 States of Fear or something like that. Where they were like covering a different folklore or urban legend or something that pertained to a specific state. And their idea was to do like all 50 states throughout the show's run, which was cool concept. I watched all of those when that released. There was a couple other shows that I watched as well, and one of them was The Stranger with Maika Monroe and Dane DeHaan. And that was one I started, but I never finished. And I don't know why, but I remember watching at least the first episode. And it was like, it's Maika Monroe. I'm definitely watching it. And then, of course, Quibi went under. And then it was like, okay, how do you find these shows? And some people would put them up on YouTube and whatever, but it was kind of lost. And so Hulu picked up The Stranger and compiled it into a feature film and made it all just one continuous movie. Now, this is brought to us by Vina Sood. I always forget how to say this name. But the person who brought us the show The Killing, which is a really good TV show. So that had me excited with that creator behind it. And it having Maika Monroe and Dane DeHaan from A Cure for Wellness. I was like, okay, this could be cool. And so Kaylee and I threw this on. It is on Hulu currently. Just got put on there a couple days ago. And let's talk about it. So I had to give the backstory to Quibi because people would be like, is this new? No, it's not new. It's like 4 years old at this point. But it's new to us because who the hell had Quibi besides me and like 2 other people? So this is primarily, this is just a really hard Hitcher ripoff. Mm-hmm. The first 20 minutes or so is almost directly pulled from the Hitcher. Except for it's like a ride share instead of him like sticking his thumb out. Right. But outside of that, man, it's really close. Like there was a lot of stuff happening here. I was like, the Hitcher. Yeah. So this absolutely was inspired by the Hitcher. There's no way the comparisons are this close, coincidentally. But yeah, so she picks up a ride share person. I forget what the company's called. It's nothing that's real. And he, of course, wants to ruin her life and then follows her around town and gets her in trouble with the police. As I said, very Hitcher. Mm-hmm. And then she picks up a guy, as you know, instead of her being, she's the C. Thomas Howell character, and then the guy she picks up is the Jennifer Jason Leigh character. Right. Yeah. And he kind of throws his whole life away in 2 seconds to help her out. And I kept telling Kaylee, like, this is the benefits of having a pretty face. A guy's willing to throw his whole life away for a pretty blonde in like 10 seconds. Which he literally throws his entire fucking life away because, like, you know, they're on the run from the police. Yeah. And, you know, he's making them look like they're committed murder and all sorts of insane things. So his life is over. Anyway, I like Maika Monroe a lot, right? And I am not blind to people that I enjoy their performances and whatever. Like, she made that God is a Bullet movie that we reviewed, and I was not big on it. And this is another one that it's too much like The Hitcher. I love The Hitcher. It's so much better than this. And I found so much of this to be so convenient, so contrived, so like convoluted, and so convenient. A lot of C words. But I don't know, man. The whole time I was just like, oh, come on, really? Oh, come on, how? Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is kind of, the level of, like, hacker that he is kind of like Timothy Oliphant's character in Die Hard 4, which was just like, bro, what?
I definitely found it, like, over the top at times, for sure, but I liked it overall. Like, I liked her performance, and I thought that it, even though it is, like you said, a Hitcher ripoff, like, I feel like it's still a scary situation no matter what, you know? And this is also, there are differences. And I just wish there was some elements, like we had talked about when we finished it. There was a few elements that I feel like were set up and like teased that didn't really have any payoff or follow through.
Yeah, something would have passed.
Those I think would have given it much more depth, like the story more depth. And I do wonder if maybe they weren't fleshed out because of like the time constraints on the episodes.
It's like an hour and 40-minute movie, though.
It is, so I feel like they could have probably included it, but I don't know. She has a dog in this, which definitely is a big part of why I liked it.
100%.
But I think it was interesting, and the ending is like really kind of far-fetched in a way. Which, if you watch it, you'll see what we mean. But I still liked it, though. Like, it kind of felt satisfying. I think that's why the movie worked for me, is because there's a satisfaction that you get at the end. At least that I got. And so I enjoyed that, because the entire time you're just like, oh my God, this is a nightmare for anybody to be in. Like, what is happening? What is she going to do? Why is this guy after her? All of that. And then, you know, after the climax, and it just felt good to get that ending. Yeah. So, I don't know. I had a good time watching it. I think it is a lesser version of The Hitcher, but it has Maika Monroe, and I think she always does a great job, and I don't know. I think it's worth a watch. Like, if you have Hulu and you want to put something on, I think it's worth a watch.
There's so many conveniences in this film. There's so many things you have to just look past and accept as part of this world. And as you said, like, the ending, far-fetched, oh my God. This is straight up, like, so random. It is sort of set up earlier in the movie, but it's like a 20-second scene, and then somehow they're pulled into it.
Yeah.
Like, you'll see. And you're just kind of like, what? How the fuck? Like, where did they come from? How did the... What? So that kind of stuff was just very silly to me. I didn't hate it. Like, I enjoyed the ride to a degree. But it just did feel like one thing after the other made me roll my eyes one too many times. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, come on. You know? And it's pretty predictable throughout. That's another issue for sure. But Maika Monroe is just, you know, I like Maika for sure, obviously. She's very beautiful. She's, you know, she picks a lot of cool movies like It Follows, and, you know, she's been in a bunch of shit now that I'm a fan of. So it's not like she hasn't made some good films, but Maika Monroe is pretty much the same in every movie. Like, she doesn't have a lot of range to her. She kind of has she's like a one-trick pony with her characters. She kind of reminds me, and it's not a bad thing, because a lot of people do this, right? There's a lot of actors who kind of just have a shtick, right? Like Bruce Willis had that thing going on where he was basically the same guy in every single film. Unless he worked with M. Night Shyamalan, then he kind of just toned it down but it was still similar. And Maika just has that to me. She's always kind of got that blank face, and she cries a lot. And it's always like, I don't know. You guys know what I mean if you've seen enough of her films. I don't know if I've seen a performance from her. God is a Bullet's a little different only because she's just more mad in that. But I just feel like in every film I've ever seen her in, she's the same character. She kind of reminds me of like Kristen Stewart in that way, where I just feel like it's like I like them, but they're very they're very toned down. They have a very like their performance is always very somber and reserved.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And not bad. I don't know. So I like Maika Monroe a good amount, but I don't think that she really brings anything interesting to the table with her performance. Typically. It's a good performance, but it's always the same.
I can kind of see what you're saying about that, but I don't know. I think she takes on a lot of the same similar-ish roles. But...
Do you feel like she's any different in this as she was in The Watcher?
I mean, yeah, I do feel like this is a different character.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think this character is much more like...
or it follows?
Like frantic. And in The Watcher, like there is the same kind of paranoia, but it's different.
No, because it's almost exactly the same character. Because it's actually almost the exact same character because they're both like saying the same shit. Like somebody's following me, and they're like, "No, actually, no, I take that back. This is exactly the same fucking thing."
It's not.
She's like, "I think someone's following me," and then they're like, "You do this. You've done this before." And she's like, "This is different."
In The Watcher?
Yeah.
I don't
she
remember
thinks
that.
people remember, like somebody says that and we think she's gonna go home and have it happen to her again because the boyfriend's very dismissive of it, being like, I swear that's in that movie.
I don't remember that, but it's been a little while since I've seen it.
Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I swear in that movie they mention it like she had that happening to her back in the States.
Yeah. I just felt like in The Watcher, it was a little bit more of a, like, controlled character. Like, there's still a bit of, fear, of course, with the idea of somebody watching you. But in this one, she feels a lot more, like, loose. I'm not disagreeing with you entirely. I do think that she plays similar characters. But I think she's a great actress. So, I don't know.
I think she's a good actress. I think that I enjoy her because she makes cool movies and she's good to look at and she's fine in her movies. But like when I think of The Guest, when I think of, Significant Other, when I think of these movies, I'm not seeing drastically different characters. That's just not the case. Right? And that's not even that big of a rub. Like Samara Weaving, who I adore, is pretty much the same chick at every movie.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not a bad thing, per se. But, they're not... She's not going to be on the level of, like, an Anya Taylor-Joy, who is wildly different in so many movies. The Queen's Gambit versus... No, there's... What? The Witch versus like the Queen's Gambit, they're not even close to similar characters. I don't even know why we're having this discussion.
I don't know. I think that there are rules that I don't know. This doesn't pertain to the movie. So,
From what I've we'll have this discussion off camera. But you guys let us know who's your actors that you feel like are the same in every movie, and who do you think has wild range, and who do you think is right on this conversation? Is Maika Monroe a super talented actress that is drastically different in every role?
I didn't say that.
I
You're
know,
like
I know,
not
I'm
even giving them
you.
the right argument.
Who are you more with on Maika Monroe, Kaylee or me? And if you want to check out this movie, as she said, it's on Hulu. Let us know. We'll see you in the comments. Bye.
Bye.